I experienced the peace in Africa, Ghana specifically, that most men only know when they're laying with a woman, right? When they're getting high, when they're drunk, when they're indulging in some kind of usually negative. And there are positive ways, like when a man has found his purpose, right? And he's in full pursuit of that. But I saw and felt and experienced something that I've made it my life mission to either bring back here to the United States, especially to my community, to my culture, to Black society, or get as many of us there as I possibly can because of what I experienced and what it's done for my life.
Without further ado, y'all, this gentleman right here is a financial coach. He's an advocate for men's mental health. He's a man of God. He gives back to the youth. He does it all. He wears many. You see, he got a hat on right now. He wears many hats. All right, he wears many hats. But without
I'll
further
say.
ado, my brother in Christ, Kwesi Dreams, brother, how are you feeling?
Man, I'm fantastic. That was an incredible introduction. I'm looking around like, who he talking about? Who he talking about? He talking about me.
Yes, sir.
He's talking about me. But I'm extremely honored, and I want to start off by first acknowledging God's presence in this space. I know not everybody knows him by the same name, Allah, Elohim, Adonai, whatever you call him, just make sure you call him something righteous, right? Make sure you call him something that honors him because ultimately honoring God is honoring yourself,
Man,
right? Honoring God is honoring yourself. So, in addition to that, I am an extension. As I hear you say these things about me, as I hear other people say things about me, I am learning to see myself as an extension of the gifts that I've been given, which do not belong to me, right? The blessings I have been given that do not belong to me, the favor that can be taken from me at any point in time. And I'm extremely, extremely grateful to be alive. I'm extremely grateful to be a so-called Black American in the world society, right? And I'm grateful to be on this podcast and in your presence as well. You are a powerful brother yourself, and I'm sure you know that. I know your followers know that, but they're gonna see a whole new side today, a whole new side.
I love it.
So we here.
I love it, man. I love
Amen.
it. Real quick, right? Because anytime I start getting goosebumps when you start bringing up the Lord, you start bringing up God.
Talk
I
about it.
really start getting goosebumps.
Mhm,
Let me ask you real quick before I dive into all my other questions.
mhm,
Because you said a lot. You said an extension, right?
mhm,
Have you always viewed yourself as being that, like being that extension, being that vessel, or did it take
mhm.
some time for you to get to the point that you at right now?
Man, that's a fantastic question, and we could fill up the live with my journey, my journey to the Lord, which is still ongoing, right? I'm nowhere near where I plan to be, so I'm so much further than where I started, right? And as a matter of fact, before we dive into it, I want to challenge everybody who's watching this right now. Challenge everybody who's watching this. Share this video, right? Share this live with one person, right? Click the share button and share with the first person that pops up because I promise you if you care about that person, if you love that person, you want to share this live with them. I'm so glad that you're here. You want to share this with them. Second thing I'm going to task y'all to do, post in the chat where are you tuning in from? Where are you tuning in from on Earth? I want to know where we speaking to, who we speaking to, what time zone are we speaking in, because we crossing dimensions, baby. I was watching Interstellar last night. 3 hours.
uh,
3 hours, but we crossing dimensions, baby. So post in the chat where you tuning in from, share this reel, and we're gonna dive this live and we're gonna dive right into it. We're gonna dive right in. So if I heard you correctly, brother, you were asking me where where am I at in my journey? Have I always felt this way? And the answer is absolutely not. Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I didn't, to my knowledge and my understanding, I didn't grow up in a Christian home, right? I grew up in a home with I know the Bible refers to lukewarm Christians, right? And we didn't get. I remember a small phase of my life where I was dragged to church, and I won't say it was a white church explicitly,
right,
but you know the difference.
right,
you
right,
know,
right.
you know the difference. Oh, shout out to Detroit, Michigan. My first wife was from Detroit. Her family from Detroit. So I love Detroit. It gets a bad rap, but I freaking love Detroit. And I see y'all is sharing this. Thank
It's
you
just
so
cold.
much.
It's just cold out in Detroit. That's all.
To say the least. To say the least, fingers falling off in the winter. What you mean cold?
For
But
sure.
anyway, yeah, I see that view count going up. So please keep sharing this, keep sharing this, keep sharing this, and make sure you post in the chat where you tuning in from. Oakland. Hey, shout out to Oakland. I actually lived in Oakland for 8 years, and I'm gonna be doing this. If I get too far off track, just bring me back in,
No,
brother. Bring me
I
back
got you, brother. I
in.
got you. We're gonna have fun. Let's have fun. Let's
Oh,
enjoy.
we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna have a great time in the Lord and in the people and the culture in Black History Month because we are alive, and that's a beautiful thing. So, getting back to my story, I was dragged to what I refer to as a white church, right?
Mm.
And I know the difference because I have a church home now, and I won't say it was a black church. I don't know how my pastor would feel about that, but there's a whole lot of black people up in that church. There's a whole lot of black singing up in that church.
Uh-huh.
And growing up in my home, we prayed. We prayed before we ate every meal. And I know my grandfather taught me the Lord's Prayer. I believe he had a master's in theology, and he was an ordained minister, if I'm not mistaken. He passed when I was pretty young, so I didn't get a chance. This is my maternal grandfather. I'll say this: God has been around me my entire life. Right? He's been around me. I went through. I went. Oh, shaky in the chat. Uh-oh. Shaky know my first wife. That was amazing, hilarious. But anyway, yeah. So God has been around me my entire life, and I ran away from him from a while for a while,
Mm.
right? I ran away from him for a while, and I was actually listening to. You listen to Chance the Rapper or no?
Yeah, I'll listen to him.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
old school Chance, before Hollywood. But classic Chance. I believe this is on his coloring book album. That's a song he did with Jay Electronica, legend, unsung legend. But anyway,
Mm.
the song he did with Jay Electronica, and he has a line in his verse where he talks about basically hiding from God,
Got you.
right? He talks about hiding from God, and when I listen to that, it's so relatable because especially as I'm going on this journey now, um, it, it, it's so important for me to listen to, we call it a small still voice, right? We are that small quiet voice that's in the back of your mind, when you about to stray.
All right.
When you about to stray, and that voice has gotten louder and louder the closer that I get.
It does.
so
It
so
does.
I guess to make a longer story short, no, I have not always felt like this. I've not always been like this, but I'm so grateful because the closer that I get, the more that I see these doors starting to open up. Right, talk about the blessings coming down from heaven. The more that starts to happen, the closer that I get, the more I open my heart, the more that I humble myself. And if nothing else, I want to receive more of those blessings. So I'm going to continue to go on this journey.
Amen.
I'm going to leave it at
Amen.
that.
And you listen, you want to receive, because you so much of a giver, and from what I see, it's all about giving. It's not really nothing about receiving anything back. So if I do, I'm doing from the kindness of my heart, right? Because God has put me here on this earth to be a servant, and that's what I get every time that I hear from you. Even you now speaking right now, that's what I get. That's the energy that I always get. So now speaking of journey, I want you to bring me back, right? Because I was doing my little homework, right? And you made a post because you're originally from Ghana, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Oh, I like that. I'm so honored that you believe that. I'm so I'm so grateful that you think that. I am a homegrown Negro, my brother.
Okay.
Homegrown cotton plantation. But I understand. For the people who are listening, there's a reason he said that. But go ahead, continue, please.
So you made a post um back in it was September 18th of 2024, right?
Oh, look
Right.
at you. Okay.
And it's a quote that you said. It said 10 years ago, I was halfway across the world. I lived in Ghana before it was cool, and the
Mm.
experience changed everything. The food, the air, the sun, the people, and culture are so different. My biggest lesson learned is it's better to be different. Cali and Ghana raised me right, and that saved my life.
Hey, yo, who wrote that? Who wrote that shit is fire.
but,
ChatGPT wrote that?
but that's what
Nah,
you put.
ChatGPT.
That's the
That is what
post
I
that.
wrote. Yeah.
But I want the
Yeah.
reason why
Wow.
one September 18th is my birthday. That's number one. So it's
Look
just
at God. Look
right.
at God.
September 18th is my
Alignment.
birthday. But why was that so important for you to write though on social media?
Oh man, you going Shannon Sharp on him. We starting off with a cognac, bro. With a cognac and break it out. But it's actually interesting. I want to go back September 18th. My first wife, her birthday is September
Oh
17th.
wow.
Very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Shout out to the I attract so many Virgos into my life. That is such an interesting thing. But anyway, besides the point. Uh, Ghana Ghana was phenomenal. So I lived there for a year. I've been twice. Shout out to Social Boss. I see Social Boss in the chat tuning in from Nigeria.
Shout out
I don't even know what she like when I say that.
in tonight.
Shout out to Social Boss. By the way, please continue to share this. I see the view count is going up. Continue to share this because I guarantee you, you're gonna hear something to change your life. I want somebody that you love to have their life changed too. So somebody that you love or somebody that you kind of like, send them this live, and also post in the chat where you're tuning in from. Where you're tuning in from. So I lived in Ghana for a year. It was a life changing experience, and that doesn't even encapsulate who I am and what I've become as a result of that. But let me tell you this, right? I did not know there was no such thing as black before I went to Ghana. I
Oh
had no
wow.
idea. Right? Oh, shut up. Oh, Anderson in the chat. Look at all y'all tuning in. Hey, the power of social media. I made that post today at like 8 a.m. I'm like, let me just throw this thing up. Let me see what it do. but, but
It's
early in
doing what it
doing
needs to
things.
do. It's doing what it
Let's
needs to do.
oh, we got pretty girls on the roof.
We got H
Hey, but anyway,
Town.
H Town going down. But yeah, so I lived in Ghana for a year. I didn't know that there was no such thing as black. And when I say that, I don't mean to offend anybody, right? But what I do mean is black has no flag, black has no country, black has no like political structure, right? That is inherent to a place that we come from,
Mm,
right? We have things that we've created, and we have things that we fought for, and we have things that sometimes by force we've had to take. Shout out to the Black Panthers.
right.
But black is not like when you live in a country. Have you ever been to Africa or no?
No,
Or any land that's like,
that's that's
man,
that's definitely on the list though. That's definitely on my list.
bro,
God willing.
absolutely. God will make it happen. God, you giving Igbo vibes, right? You giving straight up Igbo Nigerian. But yeah. So when I'm in a land where everybody is black, right? When I look at the billboards and I see black people, I turn on the TV and I see black actors. I go to the doctor and I see black doctors, or the doctor's office, the hospital. I see black doctors, black dentists, right? It's like, what is black? That has
Mm,
no relevance there.
right.
And let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. What tripped me out the most was sometimes because I when I was there, I dressed American, quote unquote. How you got Africans here and they
Right,
you,
right.
when you look at it, you like you might be one of us, but I see you wearing them shiny ass shoes, them tuxedo shoes with some cut off jean shorts. Like, so, but I was there in Ghana looking like an American,
right.
right? And so if people didn't know that I was American, as soon as I opened my mouth,
That's what
right? As soon as I
people.
opened my mouth. And what tripped me out the most is that when I opened my mouth and I spoke, they started treating me like I was white.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. Oh wow. And if you know, you know.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
know, but just the way that, we treat white people here,
Right.
right? With like this reverence and this respect and this like this this godly like respect that we give them
Mhm.
just by nature of them being white and sometimes very violent. But
Right.
anyway, I was treated like that there. Where like I was just like uplifted and put on this pedestal, and it's like, oh my goodness, like you're you're not one of us,
Mm,
right? But almost like, and not everybody, but this is I'm just speaking of my
for
experience,
sure.
right? Like that's what tripped me out the most, right? Like being there, and first off, feeling like as a black man, I can breathe.
Mm,
I can breathe. I can release. I don't have to look around my shoulders and think either some nigga about to get me
right.
or somebody who's not a nigga about to
Right.
get me. Right? I didn't have that. I felt this peace. I know in the Bible it talks about a peace that transcends all understanding.
Right.
Right? I've never felt that.
Mm,
I mean, let me ask you something. How how honest can I be? How real can I be on this? Like, because I don't want to ruin your platform. How
No,
real
you're
can I
not.
be
You're not.
here?
You're not. Listen, express yourself, brother. This is a platform where I created and I want people to come on and express themselves. You know what I mean? So
Okay,
express yourself, Chance.
fantastic. So I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real. So if you tune into this live, just know I'm gonna keep it real. I did this is about to be a Cat Williams interview with Kwesi Dreams.
Listen, do your thing, brother.
But I um I experienced the peace in Africa, Ghana specifically, that most men only know when they're laying with a woman, right? When they're getting high, when they're drunk, when they're indulging in some kind of usually negative. And there are positive ways, like when a man has found his purpose, right? And he's in full pursuit of that. But I saw and felt and experienced something that I've made it my life mission to either bring back here to the United States, especially to my community, to my culture, to Black society, or get as many of us there as I possibly can because of what I experienced and what it's done for my life. And I'm honored that you think that I'm Ghanaian
Not
because
what.
I am now.
Well, like I said, I looked at it and I said, oh, but that's why I wanted to bring it up. So thank you for the clarification, though. But
Amen.
let me, 'cause I don't want people to miss this, though, right? You said that you was able to breathe, right? There was a sense of calmness, a sense of peace. If you can, like, bring us. Like if you could go a little deeper into that, because I don't want the people that's listening to it, I don't want them to miss that part.
Hmm.
So what how like to what depth did you feel that? Did you feel that peace, that tranquility, that calmness? What was it? Because you said as soon as you opened up your mouth, they treated you differently. How did that
Hmm.
make you feel in knowing that, and then knowing what you know? How did that make
Hmm.
you feel?
First thing I felt was survivor's guilt.
Got you.
That's the first thing that I felt. And for anybody here who doesn't know what that is, listen to Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly" album, right? That's basically Survivor's Guilt, and however many songs on that album, which it was phenomenal, by the way. But that's what I felt, right? Like here in America, and not to diminish the way that we feel as a culture,
Right.
right? But I definitely recognize that we don't appreciate or respect the blessings that we have
Mm,
being in this country, or we don't appreciate the sacrifices that our ancestors made so we could even be on this live right now and express ourselves and eat at lunch counters without getting hot coffee poured on our heads, right? I don't know if we really, really appreciate that. And I'm there, and not to, like, first off, I love Africa. I love Africa. I want to live there more. I don't know if I want to stay there permanently, but I want to live there more. It's a beautiful place. And again, a peace that transcends all understanding. But there's a reason why Africans who are able get out of Africa. Like
got you.
there's a reason,
Right.
right? Because it is so much has been taken from that land, and so much war has been put upon those people in and outside of their minds that it makes it hard if you're from there and you feel like there's no escape to really enjoy that experience. And again, I'm not speaking for everybody, but I am speaking for my experience to what I witnessed, right?
Mhm.
And by the way, if anybody here in the chat has been to or is from Africa, I would appreciate, like, let's have conversation.
For
Right?
sure.
I don't want, just because I'm on this live and I have the microphone, that doesn't mean that I am the authority on this subject, right? I'm just speaking to my
Right.
experience, right? I'm speaking from my experience. But I'll tell you this, right? When we talk about that word peace, right? It's almost like the word freedom in the Black
Right.
consciousness, right? When you speak about something that you haven't truly felt or experienced, right? And it's just a theory or a concept or an idea, it's so difficult to articulate it, let alone envision it,
Mm.
right? Like there's a very specific reason why. So, man, and then here's the thing, like I find myself like biting my tongue sometimes because I have to identify we're still on a platform that doesn't belong to us.
That's true.
Right. And if we didn't see that anywhere else, we saw it on TikTok.
For sure. For
Trump came
sure.
in and said, I don't like these Chinese MFers all up in our business, stealing our data, tracking your phone and your location, even when you close the app, by the way.
Right.
But we're going to shut that thing down. Whether it's for 36 hours or 36 days, we're going to shut it down. I know people have made 6, 7, 8 figures from from TikTok in their businesses,
And people was losing
right? And just gone
their
overnight.
mind when they heard that it was about to be banned. People was going crazy, and I understood
Bam.
because it's interesting because my younger sister, she was telling me, she's like, man, get on TikTok. I'm like, for what? I'm on Instagram, right? Because I like to, I don't like to be doing a whole bunch of things at once. But nevertheless, she was like, listen, get on TikTok, and I didn't realize how much of an impact it had on people's lives and incomes and stuff like that. People was really are able to fund their lifestyle because of the
Facts.
platform. So a lot of people was going crazy. So,
Yeah.
but let me ask you something.
Mhm.
Because earlier, and I noticed there's a word that you always use, and it's the culture, right? You even
Mhm.
said it. You even said it in your story earlier. The culture, right?
Mhm.
When you say that, when you say the word culture, like what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Like what resonates on your heart when you say that word?
Love.
Mm,
Love. Uh, I know Jay-Z in his song H to the Izzo. H to the Izzo, B to the Izzo, or something like that. But in that song, he says, I do this for the culture. So you know what a nigga looks like when a nigga's in a roaster, something like that, Rover. I think it's like some fancy car. But I think about me being a representation of a lineage that extends back to somewhere that's only in our imagination, right? Something that our our enemy has tried so hard to remove and distance and disconnect us from. That's what
right.
I think when I think of the culture, and I see myself as a bridge and as a connection, as like a ligament that's helping to bring those things back together. And I know that's why God allowed me the opportunity to go back home. That's why He
Mm,
allowed me the opportunity to go to Africa and then to be on this live, to be on this podcast, having this conversation
I like that.
because the culture
I
needs it.
love that. It kind of reminds me of if we go into the Bible, right? When we talk about or we seen when Moses had went up into the mountain, right? When Moses go up to the mountain,
Mm,
and before that, God told Moses, said, "Do not bring anybody. Come by
yeah,
your right."
yeah,
And he
yeah.
stayed 40 days and 40 nights. Told him to
Fasting.
write everything down. Then he told him to go back down. So it's kind of like for me, I feel like when you say like a representation of that is
Mhm,
you getting that calling from God,
mhm,
spending in solitude with him, coming back, bringing that information and bringing it back to us. Because I've seen you've done it. I've seen you going back to, uh, I think it was in November when you was on the men's panel, right? On talking about mental health and things of that nature. Even going back as far as back in December when you went and you was teaching the youth and with finance when it come to
mhm,
finance. So I feel like if and correct me if I'm wrong, throughout your journey, it's been a test, it's been trials, it's been errors, it's been learning, it's been lessons, it's been all these different things for you to be able to gather this data and bring it back to the culture, to the people. When people are looking at you in that light, does it feel overwhelming? Does it feel like that position of leadership sometimes can be so heavy at times, right? It can wear on you, and sometimes you feel like, man, because I remember before I started doing everything that I'm doing, I felt heavy, and I was like, God, why are you choosing me to do? I don't want to be talking to all these people, all right?
mhm,
So I'm asking you, was there ever a point in time when you felt overwhelmed or you felt like, man, like this may be too much? I want to help the culture, but this feels like a lot. Do
mhm.
you ever get to that point?
Wow, that's a fantastic question. That's a fantastic question. I want to before I answer that, I want to acknowledge everybody who is on this live. I see some very familiar faces. Shout out to Cam, um, and Akechi. But please continue to share this live and continue to comment. Like, let's build community. Let's have a group conversation. Um, but to answer your question, brother, I I did feel overwhelmed until I realized, again, going back to the question you asked about the culture and the lineage, right? The connection, and realizing that I am and you are just a continuation of work that has been done to help us get to this point, right? Like in my mind and my reality, feeling overwhelmed is one thing. It's like I don't believe that we have full control over our feelings in that way, but being overwhelmed,
Right.
right? Claiming that I'm overwhelmed, operating out of that feeling of being overwhelmed or anxious is a luxury and an arrogant way to move, right? As if God doesn't have my back,
Right.
as if I wasn't given the tools, as if you weren't given the tools to do exactly what we need to do to continue this
Right.
journey, to create a better path for who's coming behind us. So to answer your question, I absolutely feel overwhelmed at times, but I know that God gave me a spirit of love and power and a sound mind,
That's love.
right? Anything outside of that doesn't come from who and what I believe in. So what would I look like operating in that or choosing to become that? And I know that all
Mm,
that I need is to believe that through God, all things are possible.
I love
So it
that.
shall be.
I love that because that in itself, right? And so bear with me, yeah, because when as he's talking, I'm thinking of biblical principles. I'm thinking of a lot of
Do
stuff, right? So
your thing.
it reminds me when Christ said, "Father, if you want me to drink from this bitter cup of suffering, then let your will be done."
Oh,
Right? Right?
uh-oh.
Right?
Uh-oh.
Let your will be done. Right? I got this cup and it may be sour, it might not
Mm-hmm.
smell good, but let your will
Mm-hmm.
be done. If it's of your will for me to drink from this bitter cup of suffering, let your will be done.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say that my vision is not my vision. My vision is the vision that God has for me. The vision that God has over my life is what the vision or the purpose is going to be over my life, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when did you feel in your heart like that was the calling for you? That was the vision. When God, I, I don't know if you remember a specific time and day, but or a moment that you said to yourself, or you
Mm-hmm.
realized this is the vision, this is the purpose, and I must stand on business.
Yeah. Yeah, uh that's a fantastic question, man. Uh I wanna say let me jump. I mean, you said I can keep it real. You said I
Now,
can keep it
for
real,
real,
and yeah, I want to I want to talk to the people, right? I want to honor the time that you all are committing, right? Like time is an invaluable resource, and we're not here to waste it. So we want to make sure that we're imparting onto y'all things that are going to resonate with you and prayerfully improve your life, right? So my answer to that question really ties into what you were saying about if this is your will, God, then I would drink from this cup, right? And I think about I know I've referenced it a few times, my first wife, right? And I
somebody
was married.
comment about that.
I know, shaky, shaky, trying to stir it up, trying, trying to stir it up. But yeah, my first wife. Actually, there are a few people on this live who know her
Mm.
personally. We actually moved to the Houston together, and me realizing my purpose, a lot of that came through what I learned from my marriage, right? Which has been since been, dissolved, or I guess is in the process. I don't believe that there's any such thing as divorce. That's a whole nother conversation, at least spiritually. But in the physical, right, in the present. And I can say that as strange as it might sound, I believe that I needed to marry her in order to understand who I am
Mm.
and what my purpose is. I truly, because I don't believe that I would have allowed myself to be free and to stand in my power and my identity. And I don't want this to sound like you know them I can do bad all by myself, right? Like it's nothing like that. Like this
No,
is
but
real.
speak your truth. But speak your
Yeah,
truth.
this is very real for me. Like I thought that I needed a woman to become my best self.
Mm.
I thought I needed a woman, and through let me tell. Oh, I'm getting downloads. God is speaking to me. I'm grateful. Thank you. My pastor be like, thank you, Holy Spirit. And I didn't know why he did that, but now I'm like, oh, I get it now. I get it now. When I first met my wife, my first wife, when I first met her, she told me I can't be with somebody who doesn't believe in God. This is before
Mm.
we were dating. This is when I was attracted to it, like
She already threw it out there.
straight up,
Mm,
straight up. And I obviously at that time I didn't believe in God, at least nowhere near the way that I do now,
right.
right? And she told me that, and I didn't start believing because I wanted a better relationship with God. I wanted a better relationship with her,
Mm,
and through that, and then we were together for I want to say 7 years. We met in what like 2017 and dissolved the marriage last year, so about 7 years. Married for about 4 of those years,
wow.
and through that process, I saw myself and felt myself becoming closer to God
Mm,
to the point where I was far beyond her telling me that I needed to read the Bible or to go to church. Like I was the one saying, "Hey, we need to watch this service. Hey, we need to pray in the middle of this argument, right? We need to remove the enemy from our home,
right.
right?" And that's when I really started to tap into. And then let me say this. Now, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to take a step back because this is your platform. I want to respect the space. I understand how it feels to be intimidated, for lack of a better word, by the word God. I don't even like that word. To be completely honest,
Mm,
I don't believe that that's his name. I believe that's the name that we've been given to refer to him as,
right.
right? When in reality, God is the grand consciousness
Right.
where we all spawn from. Like even that we're using our eyes are flesh. Like we're using our eyes are literally tools that our brain uses to download scenery and to tell our brain what we're looking at to
Right.
protect us and to identify our
Right.
surroundings. The
Right.
eyes are flesh. The eyes don't really see anything. They
Right.
pick up colors and images and frequencies and they translate it to the brain.
The function.
It's a function.
Yes.
Everything that we're looking at, oh, Kaipe, shout out to KP. But everything that we see is imagery, right? Including this black body, this black skin, these handsome faces on the live. These handsome faces, humbly. But that's important because this isn't what makes us who we are. What we see is not what makes us who we are. Who we are is who we are.
Got you.
That is an extension of the grand consciousness, what we call like our souls, our spirit. And you know this, I'm not speaking to you specifically, but that is so important because people hear this word God, especially our people, and they're like, oh, well, we didn't believe in that before slavery. Who told you that?
Right. As if they.
The white man created the Bible. Who told you that?
Right.
Does that white man you so damn mad at? Like we got, and it's like, I feel like it's important for us to just have an honest conversation with ourselves as a community, as a culture, because we believe in a lot of things that are not real or not good for us. We support a lot of things that are not real and not good for us.
Right.
Why are we so mad at God? Why are we so upset with God versus upset with the predators in our community,
When you
the
when
alcohol and nicotine
right
companies? Go
when
ahead,
when you
speak.
when you ask them that, a lot of times they can't give you an answer. Right. So
Stuck.
I'm gonna tell you, this is real. This is real story. Maybe about like a week ago, I was on TikTok when I was on live, right? And I don't know if you've ever been live on TikTok, but they come for you on TikTok. They
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 come,
they
boy.
they come for you on TikTok,
The
man.
keyboard
They
warriors.
was
Bring it.
Let me tell you, they was trying to jump me in there, man. They was trying to jump me in TikTok, but nevertheless, though, right? I stand on what I stand on. I stand on my belief and I stand on my faith, regardless of who says what, right? So they was going, they going. I said, you know what's so crazy? Y'all would condemn or persecute the person that's actually this, regardless of who you believe in. It's the
Speak on it.
right. It's the message of what I'm saying. If I'm here uplifting the culture and uplifting people, and I'm giving life to people, you will rather persecute me versus
Mm.
ones that are out here and they molesting these childs, raping women, killing
Uh-oh.
fellow brothers and sisters. Y'all
Uh-oh.
getting
And
mad
rapping about it.
despite whether I open up the Bible or whatever the case may be. But I'm giving a message back to impact
Uh-oh.
the world. But y'all don't say nothing to the people that's out here killing. Y'all don't say nothing to the people that's
Because that's the culture.
women.
Because that's the culture.
That's the
Because
culture.
that's the culture. That's the
And it,
culture.
because when you, like, I know you said it, it was like a rhetorical question, but the reason why a lot of times in those cases it's like that is because negativity will always push faster than positivity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You'll see,
Bad news travels like lightning.
right? If you look on your timeline, you look on your feed, everything that goes viral is the things that are negative.
Seven
But
deadly sins.
when you get the positivity, it's slow, right? It don't hit the algorithm the same. It
On
don't hit the algorithm, right?
purpose. On purpose.
Right? But here's the thing. Even Christ, if you go into the word, God, Jesus said that he learned obedience because of suffering. Learned obedience
Hey,
because of suffering.
hey, boy.
No,
This becoming Bible study. What's good?
I start preaching on here, man. But I'm just saying to everybody that's listening, if you, whatever the vision is in your life, be willing to go through some long suffering because not everybody is going to follow you. Your
Uh-oh.
family, your peers, not everybody's going to follow you.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, you doing this, what we call suffering for the culture, how has that been? Has it brought people closer to you? Has it separated people from you? How's that
Both.
been?
Both of them.
Talk about.
Both of them. And I'm honored. I've learned to embrace the process of letting go. Right.
Mm,
I was watching this video on YouTube. I was logged into YouTube University, and the speaker was talking about how the trees don't get sad over the leaves that fall when the seasons change.
mm,
Right? You don't see the trees bending down trying to pick those leaves up and put them back on the branches. Imagine how strange that would
for
look,
sure.
right? That's how you let going back to that girl. that's that's how you look back, going back to mans and them. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like you look like a damn tree trying to put them dead leaves back on the branches. Cut it
Right,
out.
right, exactly.
Right. But when I heard that, it resonated with me so deeply because I'm gonna. You said I can keep it real
Keep.
on here. We're gonna test the waters. We're gonna test the waters. I haven't talked to my father in almost 2 years now. Right.
Mm,
You know what's the culture? There are black people on here, black men and women, who are like, "What's the big deal? I ain't never met my father." Right.
right.
My parents separated, divorced when I was extremely young. So young, I don't even remember them being together. And my father was a staple in my life. My black father was a staple in my life. Even though he lived 3 states away, he was a staple in my life. He
Mm,
helped save my life. Right. And we won't get into all that right now. But fast forward to 2020s, I haven't spoken to him in years. And if he ever saw this, he would be so upset that I said that. But it's the
right.
truth, right? And one of the hardest things for me is realizing maybe in this season of my life, his voice and his presence and his influence had to be removed.
Mm,
I don't know that, but the more that I was literally thinking, I was like, if him and I still had the relationship that we had when I was growing up, I would have sent him this live and he would be here. He don't even got Instagram, but I
mm,
would have sent him this live. He would have downloaded Instagram and he would be watching.
mm.
He'd be in the chat right now, hyping me up.
That's that's a,
Yeah.
most people don't receive that, and I think especially in this time, it's so hard for people to support, right? That support factor. And I know you can attest to that, being in your field, the industry, the culture, and things of that nature, right? There's a quote that it says, a train has always been very unapologetic about who gets on or who doesn't get on
Oh yeah.
because to the next stop.
They'll
So a train,
keep rolling.
so a train will come. If you don't want to get on, that's fine. But if you don't get on, we're gonna keep it moving. If you do get on, we're gonna keep it moving. Either way,
Facts.
it's gonna keep moving. It's very unapologetic. have you reached to that point in your life where you had to become very unapologetic about your moves and who you are and what that vision, what that purpose is? Have you gotten to that point yet?
I had to during the dissolution of my first marriage. Like I had to, bro, first off, I think being in the situation, and I knew before the situation, divorce is the coward's way out, right?
Mm.
Moses spoke on it, Jesus spoke on it. Divorce is the coward's way out. God hates divorce. I still believe that.
Wow.
Not being married anymore. I still believe that. I never wanted that. I never intended that. Bro, I spent so much damn money. I probably should have been the first thing I said. But it's true. But also, like, I'm a man. I got down on my knee. And I
Wow.
said, I want to be with you, your pretty ass, for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I'm still alive. We're not together. What's the problem?
Let's
What's
fight
the,
it up. Go through it.
what's like, but once I realized that I was that tree
Mm.
bending over, trying to put these dead leaves back onto my branches, I was like, nah, nah. And once
Mm.
I was willing to release that, right? Once I was willing to embrace the shame of becoming my parents, or so I thought, and I was willing to go on that journey and be alone and
Mm.
sit with those emotions and grow up and find obedience through suffering. Can nothing stop the vision now?
I love it. I love it. I love it. No, I do. But you said things. I want to replay something, right? Because most men will find it hard to say what you said earlier. You said that she helped you become or realize the person that you needed to be. And a lot
Hmm.
of men, especially our men, we are very prideful,
Very.
right? Very careful with the words that we use because we don't want to look weak. But in moments like that, it's
Yeah.
necessarily weakness. I believe it shows strength, right? To admit that, hey, look, this woman that was in my life, she helped me become a better man. Now, regardless if we stay together or not, she helped me realize some things about myself that allow me to be able to elevate. Um, Without going too crazy about it, so I don't want you to spill out your personal business and everything like that.
Oh, it's out,
But
brother.
but look,
My guts on the table, bro.
but looking back now, and because you said she brought you closer to God,
Hmm.
but you was like, hey, at first I wanted to get
Hmm.
closer to God so I could get closer to her. Like that
Yeah.
there was an
Yeah.
agenda for this, right? There was a
That's
plan.
that new Mac.
Right. So, but if you can go back to that journey and just how that impact that she had to shape you
Hmm.
in that you are today, whether it was for the
Yeah.
greater or things of that nature, or there was like animosity or whatever the case may be. Like
Hmm.
what give us a picture of that as a man, a black man.
Yeah.
Give us a picture of that.
100%. So earlier I was saying that I believed that I needed a woman in my life to become the best version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And what I realized through that marriage and the dissolution of my marriage is that that is so far from the truth.
Right.
Right. Born alone, die alone. Even if you married, born alone, die alone. Right. It's just you going into that casket, my boy. Right. It's just your spirit returning back to the eternal heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I do believe that a man needs marriage to truly elevate to the assignment that God has for us. Like I believe that even in regards to it says in the Bible that a good man leaves an inheritance to his children. How do you create children outside of marriage? Oh, sleeping around, shacking up. Oh, I forgot. It's the culture. We got different rules. We got different standards.
Right.
But honestly, right, I believe in marriage wholeheartedly. And the process of me becoming a better man, a more godly man through my marriage was like a sharpening of a sword.
Mm.
Right. I know Eric Thomas. You remind me a lot of Eric Thomas, by the way.
Yeah.
I met him. He spoke in my college graduation.
Shout out to Eric.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to E.T. the hip hop preacher. But I'm reading his book right now, UOU, and he talks about the creation of a diamond.
Mm.
Right, the creation of a diamond happens through cutting, intense pressure, and heat.
Mm.
not holding hands and singing kumbaya and swaying side to side, or listening to frequencies while you meditate, burning sage and just being at complete peace,
Mm.
cutting, intense pressure, and heat. That's how and look at how we look at diamonds. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I need 50,000 of them around my neck. That's the culture. Right? I mean, diamonds are like they're one of God's greatest creations, natural resources here on earth, right? But how was it created?
Mm. Mm.
How were we created? And that's what happened. So it was like we're so perfectly and wonderfully made, right? If anybody here has been in a long-term relationship, you know what it's like. You know what it's like where you have a man and you have a woman, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, right? And we are perfectly made for each other, but
Right.
not just to have sex and go to the movies and eat together, but to shape each other, to complete that yin and yang circle.
Mm.
Perfectly made. Even when you look at the you know what an ankh is? You ever seen an ankh before?
No,
Ankh,
enlighten me.
the so it's the Egyptian symbol. You've seen it before, but it's the Egyptian symbol where you had it looks like a cross, but there's like a
Okay.
circle at the top or like an oval at the top, right? That symbolizes the penis and the womb.
Got you.
Right? That we're made for each other. We're made to be together, and that's what I realized in my first marriage. I
Mm.
realized that the only way that I was going to survive. I mean, there were, and I see I see why you gave that disclaimer about not going too deep because I'm like, there are things that I want to say, but there are people who are watching this that know her, and I'm like, I'm not in the business. Like, this is not the shade room.
Right,
This
right.
is like I'm not. I want to tell my story, right? But I will say this: there are times when I had to make a decision between do I want to go to jail right now or do I want to stay home?
Mm.
Because it was just like some of the disagreements just got so intense, and it's like the human emotions is like a freaking tornado. And when it starts to spiral and we're not grounded or rooted in it, that's why a relationship with God is so important,
Right,
right? A three-strand cord is not easily broken. What God brought together, let no man tear apart. These things are in the freaking Bible. Like,
right,
read the Bible, read the word, right? But at those times when we got disconnected and it's like we're having a disagreement and then it just starts to stack on top of each other. And then it's like, oh, well, you did this 3 weeks ago. And that gets added to the conversation that we're having today. And just boom, 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 earthquake.
wow.
And in those moments, that I believe is when a boy becomes a man. Because
Mm.
a boy is going to do something that he's going to regret the next day. A girl is going to do something that she's going to regret the next day. But a man is going to envision, how do I want this situation to play out? And it's in those moments that I became a man. When I made those decisions that I don't give a shit what she's doing. I don't care how she's acting because I know who I am. And know at the end of the day, just like, and it's so hard for me now to not talk about God and to not talk about scripture. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not
Wow,
ashamed of that. But even when we refer to the story of creation,
wow,
the story of Adam and Eve, even when we refer to that story, the snake spoke to Eve.
wow.
The snake convinced Eve to eat the apple.
Indeed.
God saw it happen,
Wow,
but he didn't say nothing until Adam ate the apple.
wow.
The first person he spoke to was Adam
Damn.
when Eve ate the apple. Why? Because God gave us the commandment.
Mm. He's dropping the bars, y'all. He's dropping them bars. He's preaching and teaching right now, y'all. Listen, if y'all enjoying this, just give us the hearts. If y'all have questions, please write your questions. If you have any questions, make it interactive. If you have any questions for him, we'll make sure that we get to your questions. Um, Moving a little bit further, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I did see that, like I said earlier, you was a moderator on the panel at Mickey Leland Nice
Yeah,
College Academy.
yeah.
How important was that for you? Right? How was that? How important was that? Because I watched the clip, and seeing all the brothers there. seeing everybody, give their testimonies and things of that nature. How important was it for you to be at that event and be, one of the moderators on that panel?
Yeah. And I'm gonna give out of respect for your time and everybody who's watching this, I'm gonna give a brief answer, and I would like to go to the wrap up. I actually have a
For
church meeting after this.
sure.
I'm part of life group. Shout out to KP, one of our life group leaders who's on this live. I know she got to hop off soon if she hasn't already. But I'm gonna give a brief answer to this, and then if we can just start winding down. But that was so important. So what he's referring to, for those who don't know, check out my page. I'm a part of what's called the African American Male Wellness Agency, which is a national organization with 26 chapters. The fastest growing chapter that just celebrated its 2-year anniversary, 2-year birthday on February 1st is the Houston chapter. And I am legally I can't refer to myself because I'm still a volunteer, but I've been elevated to a leadership role. I'm like a program coordinator, but specifically I'm over what's called our Real Men Real Talk, right? Which is a monthly event that we host. The next one upcoming is February 20th at the said Institute. Unshameless plug.
Uh,
February 20th, the said Institute at 6:30 p.m. in Houston, Texas. We're coming to a city near you. You're in New York, right? Is that
yes.
correct? Yeah, coming to a city near you or a borough near you in New York. We're gonna get that popping. But right now we are in Houston, 6:30 p.m. at the Set Institute. And it's again going back to it. In case you can't tell, as you're watching this, I have a philosophy, right? Oh, Kim is look at Kim. We represent it. Shout out to MY, the agency. But again, lineage, right? Philosophy, right? Everything that I do is connected or interconnected. Everything that I do is a part of this story that I was in before I even witnessed it. And now that I recognize that I'm in the story and I've seen how it's going to end, I'm just walking the journey. I'm
Mm,
just walking the journey. So what you're referring to when me moderating that panel was a part of that journey. It was a
love
plan. I was so AJ McQueen was there. If you don't know what AJ McQueen is, look him up. Man's is blowing up.
it.
AJ McQueen was there. Docs was there. Christian Menifee, right? The youngest and first black male district attorney in, I believe, Harris County of Houston, Texas, was the largest county in Houston, Texas, was just reelected, right? He was on our panel. We had Black Vegan Man, Del Wayne Stepney, who was on our panel. We had some heavy hitters, and then this guy named Kwesi.
So humbly,
with
so
the
humbly
with the
speaking.
funny name. Kwesi with a funny name was moderating this panel of winners, right? And that was just so important because I know, I don't believe, I don't think, I know that black men are the leaders of our community. We are the leaders of our society, whether or not we recognize that, whether or not we accept that responsibility, don't got nothing to do with the truth. And that is the truth. And what we see in our society, in our culture, in our families is because of us, period.
Love
It's
it.
because of how we act and because we haven't picked up the torch that was given to us. And
Mm,
until that happens, we're going to continue to see exactly what we've been seeing. And we're going to complain about it. Or we're going to do something about it. And I've decided to do something.
I
So I
love it.
moderated that panel.
I love that, man. Listen, I know you gotta head out. But definitely, brother, I appreciate your time for being on here with us. I hope this was impactful for each and every one of y'all that tuned in. Appreciate the support that we've been able to get tonight. It's been unbelievable, amazing, unbelievably amazing. I just want to tell you, brother, continue to do the exact thing that you're doing right now. I hope that God covers you from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet. I hope that He guides your step in every path. Continue to leave this impact on not just for the older people, but for the youth as well too, because they need it. They coming up after us. So I truly, truly appreciate you, everyone. I truly appreciate y'all for joining us, Mr. Kessie Dreams,
Hmm.
brother. Till the
Yeah.
next time, brother. I'll see you.
Yeah. And let me add this really quick before we hop off. One, I love you and appreciate you dearly. I see what you're doing, and I see how you're allowing God to work through you, and that is so powerful. You're inspiring people that you don't even know, and I see you on stages. I see you on platforms speaking to millions of people, inspiring millions of people, especially Black men and Black youth. And we need that. We
I
need that.
appreciate
So I honor and recognize what you're doing. Secondly, for everybody who tuned into this live, I pray that you receive something that changed or impacted your life for the better, because that's what we need. There are a lot of people, including people in my own family, your own family, who are dealing with overwhelming anxiety right now.
for sure.
And that is the devil's work. That's the enemy's work. It is our responsibility to add light and positivity and a fire that's going to burn away all those things that are plaguing us and everybody around us. We have a responsibility. So we're going to post this. Please share it. Rewatch it if you need to. But make sure, brother, can you drop your tag? Like, where can they find you? Where can they follow you? Where can they support you?
Definitely. So y'all can follow me at Marquise_I am on this page. Um, I have a TikTok. It's the same name, Marquise_I am_. In a couple of days, we will have this video uploaded onto YouTube, so y'all be able to post. Y'all be able to watch it on YouTube. I'll make sure that my brother in Christ over here, he gets the link as well to be able to share it with everybody, all the people that's supporting him. Like he said, continue to be a light, man. I truly believe that. And so, listen, brother, if I'm on stage, you're gonna be on stage. We gonna be on stage together, and we just gonna let
We
God
might.
do. But yes, to everyone, we definitely appreciate your time. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. We, like I said, we're gonna share this so that way everybody can go back and watch it. So my brother, truly, truly appreciate you, Ken. You have a blessed one. And I guess, again, I don't want to hold up too much more of your time, brother, but I'll see you soon. Talk to you soon, brother.
Let's get it. We out of here.